Welcome to TechEd. This is Jim Duggar, and I'm a technology evangelist for Basis Technologies. We're talking today to Mukul Agrawal, head of ERP at Vistaprint, about their Agile transformation, why they did it, and the critical role automation played in their success. We'll also talk a bit about how automation helped them transition to S4 in just 7 months. Basis Technologies is a provider of software solutions for DevOps and testing specific to SAP. Basis Technologies has been in the business nearly 20 years and builds and delivers SAP certified solutions to the market that helps companies change the way they run SAP. We're worldwide with customers in Americas, Europe, and APJ, including some of the most notable names running SAP. And with that, I thank you for joining. And Mukul, it's your show.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you for allowing me to participate and share my story from Vistaprint side. It's good to be here. So good morning and good afternoon to everyone who is listening today. Before we jump into the material itself, I would like to share a little bit more about Vistaprint and what Vistaprint's about. So Vistaprint was founded in 1995, a little over 20 years old company, and we have grown to be closer to $2 billion in revenue in calendar year 2019. Vistaprint partners with over 17 million customers by providing products and services that makes them look credible through marketing, professional marketing products. Our products vary from business cards, digital marketing, and all the way to flyers and big brochures. And there are thousands of products that we provide to our customers. We are victims of our own success. Time to market was everything till a couple of years back, and scale of the organization eventually slowed us down. This is when we took the turn to adapt to Agile for our future and deliver the value early and often to our customers. So let's talk about how the journey of Agile started in Vistaprint. Back in 2013 is when we started our first steps with Agile transformation. And with that kind of a step, we were looking at setting up the enterprise level EVR boards. We were looking at Kanban, stories, and many other concepts. We hired external help to come and coach us, mentor us, and be with us and train our trainers as well. HR transformation was the first one that we did in 2017. And this is when we actually started the SAP transformation as well. So SAP transformation to Agile from a complete waterfall started in 2017, and it took the turn from there on. So there are three different aspects of the transformation that we will talk about today in our presentation as well. So before we jump into those aspects, let me share a little bit about what Vistaprint did in terms of systems and where we were, so that you have necessary background and context to relate to it. Vistaprint was an SAP customer, is an SAP customer since 13, 14 years. And our first SAP ERP was implemented in 2009. As you can imagine, you're placing business cards, you're doing things. The average order value is low and the count is very high. So we implemented certain modules that were required for our business and our growth with very high volume, up to 100,000 orders being coming into SAP per day kind of things. We had a very significant large database, a lot of non-SAP solutions, and we actually took this step in 2019 to start our journey to S/4HANA transformation by retiring a lot of the old non-SAP solutions, making it as one platform that will sustain us in the future for our growth as well. Even with the high volume of transactions, we needed capability to run the reports. Power of HANA allows us to do that. So enough about SAP S4 and HANA, but let's talk about a little bit more about our journey beyond. So we went live with S4HANA in April 2020, and this is where now our transformation, business transformation, and value propositions are starting to deliver. So as I spoke about, there are three key pillars to adopting Agile in the SAP software itself. One is people, second is process, third is technology. Let's talk about one pillar at a time. When we talk about people, the first thing we did was we hired external help to come and teach us and help us understand where this Agile transformation is and how can we learn some of the concepts. We had teams who were nominated and who were picked up to learn and be the trainers as well. We had to debunk the myths. There are a lot of things that people think Agile is, but it is not. So we had to debunk that myths. We had to form tribes. We had to form squads, chapters, scales. And the goal of all of that was autonomy and pride to all of our development community. The second piece was process. We had to look at each step in our process. Process plays a very important role as much as technology in order to adopt Agile in our systems. We had to break things down to a level where we can deploy things to production much faster, much earlier to deliver the value to our stakeholders as well. So we moved to a 2-week sprint, from a 3-week deployment to production to a 1-day deployment, like everyday deployment to production as well, as part of this process changes. The third piece is technology. When we talk about technology, active control helped us in the process to go to that journey. Why did we choose active control? Active control allows us to use analyzers that are built into the software that help us identify object conflicts. It helps us to reduce the risk that developers introduce as part of their build cycles and as part of speed and delivery to the market. So active control helped us manage that risk with a very lightweight browser-based software, which does not need a client installed on every computer in order to use the tool. And those things were really valuable to Vistaprint. So some of the benefits that we got really out of the gate was the speed. As I said, daily deployments to production. Confidence is all about visibility, control, and automation. If you provide visibility and control, and with automation, your developers and your configurators are going to be more confident in what they build and how they build. So that helps to reduce the risk in the overall schema. Automation. Automation was big. Self-service, getting things out the door is what the speed is about. If you cannot automate certain things, you cannot make it go faster. We'll also talk about a little bit about inversion of control. So I have a very good use case that I can share today with this group. In our manufacturing plants, there is warehouses, and in warehouses, there are storage locations. And when there is a new storage location being created or any new storage is coming up, there is a ticket coming into our teams to create that storage location in SAP system. With the people training, process, and the technology, we allowed our business partners to initiate that change in our development system, automatically migrate it to quality system, test it, and automatically migrate it to production systems. So we gave the control back to our business partners to allow to do those things. And this is just an example. There are other areas where we have been able to do the same and allow our business partners to be more self-sufficient and be in control of what they do. The last thing is integration. The seamless integration between SAP, Active Control, and Jira, which is our ticketing system or change management system. We were able to maintain that connectivity throughout with a very seamless integration. So let's talk a little bit about our journey of N+1 landscape and what we did in the transformation to SAP S/4HANA. So our program that started in September 2019, went live in April 2020, was a brownfield implementation where we migrated from SAP ECC from an on-premise data center to HANA SAP Enterprise Cloud. As you can imagine, that means we upgraded our application, we upgraded our database, and we also migrated the data centers. And that requires a lot of effort. With the 9 terabyte database that we had with so much volume, there is a huge instrumental amount of effort that goes into making that happen within 7 months. So some of the benefits that we could see right out the gate and we realized were N+1 landscape, and where, again, Active Control helped us to use it. We were able to use the merging capabilities from our ECC landscape to S4 landscape by moving the changes. As all of you can imagine, when you're in a massive project like ECC to S4HANA, you are using your ECC landscape for your regular production activities and your day-to-day businesses. You have 2 systems in place and there right now, so you have to manage the change cycle. You're not going to shut down, put a freeze on your ECC landscape for a period of 7-8 months. You have to manage it. That management of changes, reducing the risk that none of the changes are left behind in ECC that are required in S4HANA, was made possible with the use of the automation and the self-service capabilities and the process that we adapted in our culture of DNA. The other piece that I want to talk about is the outcomes eventually, how it made it happen. What did we do and what did we gain out of this? So the first thing, as I spoke earlier, we practically moved from a 3-week deployment to production to a daily deployment to production. That was instrumental. That allowed us to deploy things to production every day, unless and until it needs a downtime. That was another story. But every size of the project, every change, enhancement, bug fix can go to production every day. Providing capabilities to our technology community to minimize the risk is what it took us to get to that cycle. Improve the process was another piece. We removed the hurdles and bottlenecks from the teams in order to do that. We empowered our teams to have that greater autonomy and increase the productivity. After a few surveys that were done internally within the teams, technology teams, and with our stakeholders, we did a lot of analysis. We did a lot of surveys around motivation, the autonomy, and the confidence of the teams as well, and how they feel. We did see things going up and things getting better for our developers and configurators on how they deliver and what they deliver. Slowly and steadily, we were ahead of rest of the organization when it comes to daily releases to SAP, or even the adoption of Agile, or even breaking things down into smaller pieces. We were definitely ahead of rest of the Vistaprint at a certain point of time. So what did it do? It allowed us to be faster, safer, and have more autonomy to our developers. The other piece that I would like to add here is, why is this important? Why is this important to Vistaprint? As I spoke earlier, in 20-25 years, Vistaprint have been in business. We have been victim of our own growth. Time to market for our products, innovation delivery to our end customers who are placing orders on our sites is important as well. Being agile allows us to do a lot of that pieces, where we can now deliver innovation to our customers faster, sooner, manage the growth. Either it is by organic growth by rolling out to new markets, or within the markets, we are rolling out new products. Even with new products, there comes new manufacturing capability. So we were able to do a lot of that new cutting edge innovation work by the adoption of Agile, by breaking things down into smaller pieces. And lastly, but not the least, the team itself, the team that's working on the software has to have enough motivation and morale in order to do it. So we could see a definite spike in their motivation, morale, and we could see them more engaged in our day-to-day activities and business that we adopt on. So said that, I would pass this on to Jim from here, and Jim will take it.
Well, thanks very much, Mukul, for sharing the story. There's so much great outcome there for you and the team at Vistaprint, especially around the idea of being able to accelerate them from ideation to delivery of new product for your customers, of course, being able to handle the volumes and the uniqueness of the kind of production schedule that your organization has. What I'd like to offer is for anyone that would like more information, please reach out to me. This is my contact information, and we'd be happy to start a dialogue with you and provide any extra information on Vistaprint or Basis Technologies and Active Control, the solution that was used to support this move to Agile for Vistaprint. So thank you very much and have a great TechEd.